Man, yo, it's expensive out here, bro. Like, I just spent all this money for my Switch 2 pre-orders. I have a redacted project coming in. Money's tight, man. Yo, especially, and I run a figures channel. Yo, figure moats. And money's hard, but we still want to be able to do cool stuff and be able to upgrade things and make things happen. So let's talk about it. Welcome, ladies and gents. It's your boy MikeOfAllTrades. Welcome to a new series that was actually inspired by P Dub's conversation with Michael B Monday night. You know, so I don't know if we're gonna call this series "Balling on a Budget" or "Budget Building" or "Best Budgets for Game Rooms." I don't know what it's called yet, right? But this will be a series, and the idea is P Dub said that he had $1,000 to spend on his game room this year for the rest of the year, right? So we're going to stick under that premise. So what I'm going to do in this series is we're going to look at different price points of entry to where you can make upgrades to your game room. You can get started, you can expand upon these things and things of that nature. Starting out at $1,000, that's easy. You know, starting at $100 is difficult. But I figured we'll start at $300. $300 is fair, right? You know what I'm saying? So let's get to it. So you wanna start building in your arcade room, right? Well, there you go. Video over. No, but in all seriousness, you can go to AliExpress. You can grab one of these hard drives that you see content creators from Cool Toy to Mad Little Pixel to even some people in this space, home arcade space, promote. You know, the King Hank drives and whatever else. You can get a good build, you know what I'm saying, off of AliExpress if you don't want to do the work. Again, this series is about ease of use. So we're going to start from the easiest method and we're going to work our way up to some stuff that might take a little bit of know-how. So that's the easy way. You know, plug one of these in, but then you put yourself at risk for viruses, even though, you know, I've reviewed a couple of these hard drives and given them away, and I haven't had anything happen on my PC, but you never know. Stranger things have happened, all right? So I do have a list. I do have a list of points to hit. So let's get to it. So the first suggestion I had was a 2-player Pandora box pedestal. You know, like those 2-player panels with like the sticks already in it and the Pandora's box in. Literally all you have to do is you plug and play. All the stuff's gonna be shown on eBay because people are in different countries and whatever else, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, we're gonna do that. So the first one we have is right here. Okay, this one is 120. This is a kit. You know, this is if you want to build it yourself. You want to put it inside of something or whatever else, right? Pandora's box. They even give you a coin door, which is kind of crazy. You know what I mean? But for 120, you can get it, and they obviously sell in bulk, so you can get multiples of one. You know, it's enough to get you off the ground. You know, but I think this is more approachable for people. This version of Pandora's box, where again, it's just a stick. It's in the enclosure, VGA connections, USB. You know, it's got 5,000 games in it. It's a Pandora Box 30S, so this is a knockoff Pandora box. You know what I mean? So it's a way for you to get in the door. It's a way for you to, you know, hook something up and then be able to play. You know, that's the easiest option you can do. You know, hook it up to a monitor or a TV. You're good to go, right? Okay, so that's cool and everything. But what if you want to get a little bit more involved? You know, what if you want something that can potentially, that you can customize, you know? Cool. Nothing wrong with that as well. we now introduce you to the world of optiplexes. So optiplexes are cool. Optiplexes you can get like this one right here, an i5 with 32 gigs of RAM, anywhere from 17 I can't speak, 7518 up to 280, you know, depending on the configuration. Optiplexes are really cool. They're really easy, and they'll run anything you need to run in it, pretty much. Like this one is probably great for a lot of people. You know, you get the monitor, you get the board, you get this, whatever else, right? At 136 to 62, easy to get in the door. Easy to get in the door. You know what I mean? Now, Optiplex does give you a bunch of different options, a bunch of different directions that you could go with this. So, again, Optiplex paired up one of these Ken Hank hard drives or one of these AliExpress hard drives. Never put it online, you know what I mean? But get a 3 terabyte launch box build with the Optiplex, and you're in like $200, like 210. You know what I mean? And you're ready to go. I mean, with outside of some controls and things of that nature. But we'll get to that. Okay, but Mo, you're not handy. You don't you don't want to go through all this. You want something that you can just purchase and plug in. Okay, we can make that happen as well. On DIY Virtual Arcade site for $199, you can get a Battlesera build and a mini PC. Okay, it does come with an i5 6th generation Intel processor. It'll play arcade systems up to PS2 at full speed, and a lot of the games you guys are going to play are up to PS2. Like, you know, your Marvel vs. Capcom 2 it's Naomi / PlayStation 2. Although I hope you don't play the PlayStation 2 version of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, because that's the worst version. But up to PlayStation 2 means you can run your Dreamcast. You know, if it's a really good PC, it should run some Sega Saturn. You know what I mean? Like, run MAME. It should run Model 1 and 2 easy. 3 is questionable, you know. And the cool thing about this is, it is plug and play. So for those of you who are like me, who bought the retro shooter, or if you have your Cinder Light guns, you can just plug it in. It'll be configured. It's ready to go, you know. And you get all this stuff for $200. You can get a little mini keyboard, which that's pretty cool. And everything's on an NVMe drive, so it'll load like that. $200, not a bad way to get in, you know. Granted, you still have to buy a monitor and things of that nature. We'll get to monitors in a second. But if you're like me, you want to be like super frugal and you want to get your hands on everything, can I suggest you guys sub to Drew Talks? Drew Talks ain't put out a video in a minute. But if you want to get into the seedy underbelly of emulation and doing all the things, you know what I mean? Like, this is the way to go. He will point you in the direction. You don't have to buy, you know, any extra stuff or builds or, you know, whatever else like that. You know, he'll get you in the direction where you need to be pointed. Speaking of directions, this is a direction. A Raspberry Pi. Now, this is a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus. Okay, and this runs everything. I think it even runs Third Strike. It does not run Killer Instinct, the arcade version, because it's not a Pi 4. You do need a Pi 4 to run at least Killer Instinct 1 and 2, and then there's like script or whatever else, right? But, you know, hey, what's up, you guys? Future Mo cutting in. So, as I stated with the Raspberry Pi 3, it'll run anything. You guys see, this is my build. It kind of looks like a Nintendo Switch, which is cool. But the reason I loaded it up is because I want people to see that, hey, you can run CPS3 games and stuff on here.
Are you ready? Go!
Raspberry Pis are they're pretty cheap, you know. You can get away with them really quick. Like I said, you know, 3B Plus, 35. You can get a Pi 5 with 8 gigabits of RAM for $70. We said it again. Pi 5, 8 gigs of RAM, $70. And if I remember correctly, Iconic Arcade's product is supposed to come out with a 2 gig Pi 5. So for those of you who are even thinking about buying that, you can buy this Pi 5 since we already found out that we can just swap it out. Just get a Pi 5, 8 gigs of RAM, you'll be good to go. Yeah, man. So that's the rub for the Pi 5. All right, so let's go back to monitors because you're gonna need something to show this on. Okay, I'm assuming you're gonna put this pedestal like, and when we talk about like putting stuff on top of things, right? Like you can literally just peruse anything. I put 27 inches. I think 27 inches is ideal for a lot of people. I think 27 inches is a sweet spot and everything else. So like this Lenovo right here, no base, can be mounted up for 79 bucks. A lot of these monitors are going to be, you know, really cheap. Ooh, look at that Samsung, a 1080 monitor for $51.90, $51.99, right? That's actually pretty freaking good. Hell, I might order this right now. So yeah, man, like I said, like it's easy to get the stuff that you kind of need. Also, if you're gonna get a monitor, you need PC, you're gonna need speakers. These speakers right here on eBay, $24.99. Okay, $24.99. Twisted Chris did a video like when he did his Killer Instinct, and he put these speakers in, or a version of these speakers in. I have a version of these speakers currently hooked up to my AtGames build, and they boom. So it's a good deal. I know people like laugh like, oh, whoa, USB PC speaker, blah, blah, blah. No, these things, they hit hard. So it's also a good route for you to go to get in a budget. Okay. If you really want to get hands on, you get a stick kit. You get some stick kits with some USB encoders, things of that nature. You know what I mean? Get in the door. And over Amazon, there are all kinds of kits. You can get them lit up. You can get them playing. You can get them freaking Sanwa knockoffs, or you can go buy Sanwa buttons and sticks if you want to. A Sanwa quick kit for one side is just $45. You know, but you don't get the encoder board. Like where these, you get the encoder board and everything that you need to hook up to connect to certain devices to play these games. Okay, and then while you're doing your monitor and you're doing your Optiplex, yep, that's all I'm gonna show you. Like I said, yo, do your research. You can get in the door. You can download a build and be ready to go. Literally, Optiplex, download a build, monitor, speakers, buttons, $300. You can get in the door. And the cool thing about this is if you're handy, like especially if you're good with like woodworking or whatever else, you could build something to put this on. Or you can look on Facebook Marketplace. You can get an old TV stand. Hell, you can get an old stand from freaking, I don't know, for free from a rummage sale or something, and you can drill into it. There are a lot of ways for us to save money. A lot of ways for us to get in the door. You know, it's all about if you want to knock on the door, if you want to get in. But I think it's a good starting point. You know, $300. And the cool thing about it is you can just keep building up and up and up and up for this. You know, there's a lot of talk about people on multi-cades and things of that nature. This is a perfect start for you to be able to get into a multi-cade. Legitimately. Now, the next episode we'll go into like a higher price point and we'll discuss more options from there. But for somebody who wants to just get it done, you know, especially before the end of the year, or hell, maybe the end of the month, there are plenty of options. So let me know what you guys think about the series in the comments below. Again, don't know what it's called yet, man. Shout out to Pitos for the inspiration. I genuinely think that this is a really good route to go. I do. I feel like people could do so much more, and they don't have to settle for the status quo, but then they also don't have to go out and buy an actual like arcade machine either. Like they always say, yo, there's plenty of ways to get to the finish line. You just have to make sure you get there, you know? Anyway, I'm MikeOfAllTrades. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff, man. And I'll catch you on the next one. Yo, and let me know in the comments, man, if you guys are gonna try any of this stuff, because I would love to know if anybody's gonna attempt to even build or take some of the stuff and implement it in the stuff that they're already doing. Deuces, ooses.